Welcome to Sterling High School. I'm Jared Claiborne. This is the Castle Connection. It's August, summertime, August 10th, 2023. I'm joined by Mr. Frank DeRico, our Vice Principal, and we have a few announcements for you as we are into the summer. So as it is August 10th, there's a couple key things that you need to be focused on. Number one, annual registration is now open in OnCourse. So this is something that has to be done by all parents, guardians for every student. So even if you're a returning student, you must complete the annual registration. In order to do so, you must check your snail mail, your regular mailbox, for the at-home unique OnCourse ID that was sent to each guardian so that they can go in with that password and then register their student. That must be completed in order for you to sign up and see all of the classes that your student is registered for. Some of the things that might prevent you from being able to sign in are if you do have an existing fine from the previous school year, then you might not be able to have access, so you might have to contact the school in order to settle that fine and get access. But that's going to be how you see your classes, so all parents should be completing that so that students are well aware what class is and the times for all of their classes in OnCourse. Again, that was sent home, and you can find the link on the website. Another big important thing is that athletics are beginning here at Sterling High School. Football has begun, tennis is beginning, the other sports come up. In order to participate, you must complete the annual Our School registration. So if you go to the school website, go to athletics, you'll see the registration. The full registration needs to be completed, which includes an updated physical. Every physical is active for 1 calendar year. So if you got it done in the summertime last year, you're going to need to have a new active physical completed before being able to participate. You don't want to be late with that because, if teams are making cuts and they only have certain roster capacities, you don't want to have missed practice due to such a thing. If you're behind, I would always suggest to go to one of the minute clinics. Consider paying for a physical to get done if you need to do that. Okay, so activity registration is open. I'll make sure it gets sent out in the email. So Mr. DeRico, you've had a very busy summer, done a great job. So you're entering into, if you don't know, those that don't know, he entered Sterling High School about November 1st, I believe, last year. So didn't quite get a full year under your belt, but certainly you've been active as if it had been a full year.
Yes, so we hit the ground running upon my entry here, and we continue right through the summer, and will as the year continues.
Now, during the school year, you and I met with the new student governments and the class officers. Tell me, what did we talk about with those individuals?
So a lot of time when we met with those, they brought concerns from the student body to our attention. We met and heard their voices and seen what issues we could resolve at the time and which ones we'd work on with the body throughout the summer. Two common areas were the code of conduct and were the school dress code. So what we did was we formed a team over the summer, combined the volunteer staff and students, and we broke them up into teams where we could work on both the code of conduct and we could work on the dress code with the staff and students, where they would allow their voices to be heard and work on where they thought areas of improvement could be made. They would bring that back to the administration team over the next month, and we would work together towards making some of those changes, be more equitable where we could be.
Awesome. So over the course of summer, the volunteer students and staff met, I think, four different times at least, right? It's been on our admin agenda each week so that we were continuing to review their suggestions or concerns. And then ultimately we came up with a new plan, right?
Correct.
And so we do have some updates in the dress code and in the student handbook, which were board approved by the Board of Education at the August meeting. What are some of the highlights that we should be aware of?
So as far as the dress code is being made aware of, we have now allowed open-toed shoes as long as there's a back on them. Mm-hmm. So as far as slippers and slides, those are no longer or never were still allowed. But you can have open-toed sandals as long as there's a back on them.
Great.
As far as hoodies and jackets, they're still not allowed. As far as shirts, they must be neck to belt line and shoulder to shoulder. So there is no kind of skin able to be shown, things of that area. As far as code of conduct, We've also initiated Saturday detentions that will take place for 3 hours twice a month, and we've also initiated 80-minute lunch detentions. And we've been working on adding more restorative practices to help students along the way.
Great, great. So one restorative practice that you've already found a resource on has to do with the vaping, right? We had a lot of vaping. You've heard me send that message home to parents. Please continue to monitor and support your students. We're concerned that students are going to come back from summer vacation with new addictions, but what do we find as a support?
So we're working with MD Anderson. They've put together an 8-module course to work on teaching students the risk factors that go along with vaping. It is a course that they will complete, and if the infraction comes across. So we'll be using that as a restorative measure instead of necessarily a discipline out of school issue. So we'll be working on helping students work through these issues to the best of our ability here at Sterling.
Our hope is to partner. Certainly every incident could be case by case, but the goal is to help the students, right?
Correct.
Help the students, number one. So really proud of Mr. DeRico working with the student government, working with the class officers. Last year we formed a new constitution, student government constitution, and part of even the strategic plan under the Board of Education, Mr. Sheehan, is to allow student voice. So that's part of what this is, and it goes from individual students through class officers, through the student government, to the teachers, to the admin, and even up to, we have a student representative on the Board of Education. This year is going to be Miss Jordan Baker. So shout out to Jordan Baker, who will be representing her student body in our school on the Board of Education as a student member. And that's pretty awesome. So great job. I appreciate all your work with that.
Thank you.
A couple other announcements. You can find the school updated calendar on the website. Also, the free and reduced lunch applications were sent home. That's also something that has to be done annually. Reminder, this is not an automatic thing. The government did not pay for free meals for all students again this year. So if you're somebody that thinks might qualify for free and reduced lunch, you must apply for that. And that's a bonus for us. Okay, so it's good for us to have that so that we can provide your students the meals. We get the appropriate funding so that we can get that done. Next week, shout out to Mrs. Ravier and Mrs. Packer and the volunteers that are helping put on a freshman and new student orientation. There's a 3-day orientation that occurs next week, the 15th, 16th, 17th. We're looking forward to seeing some of our new students on campus next week. And some of the summer maintenance projects are really coming along very well. We're really proud. We got the brand new flooring in the media center. Out back currently, they're working on the walking path. That's going really good. And then some of the regular things, obviously the cleanup of the classrooms, new wax on floors where needed, new finishes on the basketball, both gyms for both PE and the athletics. And the big project that we just started is HVAC units. The whole 100 wing is getting re-outfitted with HVAC, and that's part of the post-pandemic results to make sure that we are having the appropriate and proper clean air exchange throughout our school building. So a lot of great things happening, but it is August 10th, which means we are close to returning. If you have any questions, we are in the office Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can contact us or always through email. Again, counselors are not here until the teachers come, so if you have a bunch of questions to counselors, you're going to have to wait till right there at the end or contact the guidance office directly. Great job this summer, Mr. D. Great job. Hope you're still spending time with the family and enjoying it. Until we see you again, have a great remainder of the summer, and as always, go Knights.